Okay, we're in mid-September and it's still 90+ degrees outside here in Bend. We're getting into that fall vibe now. School's just started about a week ago, and here we are in Bend enjoying, in my opinion, one of my favorite weather months of the year, in addition to next month, October. That's what today's video is going to be really about. We're discussing what to expect in Bend and Central Oregon going into the fall. Now that the summertime is over, locals can maybe sort of feel like they're getting their town back, but we want to address what we can expect over the next 90 days or so. We're pretty excited.
So fall is an amazing time to visit. It's an amazing time to live here. But if you're coming to explore, it's a great time to do that because most people that are here visiting, a lot of people are on summer break. So that's over now for the most part. I feel like Oregon goes back to school later than most states. So when we go back to school, most everybody's already back in school. So you can really feel the town shrink when that Labor Day weekend ends. Traffic's less, stores are emptier, restaurants are emptier. It's really a nice time to visit. But this time of year, as you can see, we've got blue, sunny skies, and it is hot today. The AC went out of my truck last week, so I am cooking driving around today. But so we'll get these nice warm temperatures. Next week, it's supposed to dip down into the 60s. So we start feeling that like crispness in the air in the mornings. But right now, it's hot out, and we're still enjoying this like late, what's September 22nd is the official end to summer. But we still feel like we're kind of in the middle of summer right now, but we are about to start experiencing those crisper mornings, probably those 60 to 70 degree days rather than these 90 degree days.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a freeze overnight here in the next 2-3 weeks or so, but the sun still comes up and it still warms up very nicely. And so there's a lot of cool activities to enjoy in the fall that otherwise you can't really enjoy any other time of year. Right now, we're kind of zipping through Juniper Park, which is very central. It's almost like Midtown Bend, essentially, is where we're at right now. And this used to be kind of the edge of town, dating back to like the 60s and 70s. And so a lot of the homes that are sprinkled into this particular area of town were built back in that time frame. They're on bigger lots. A lot of them are single level. A lot of them have a lot of character. So people come to scoop these things up because they're pretty fairly priced for the most part too. Good value and a great opportunity to add more value to the home after you buy it.
Absolutely. This is a wonderful place called Midtown, and for the longest time it was kind of forgotten. And I would say over the last 10 years, this has become one of the hottest neighborhoods in all of Bend. It's a great area close to a lot of the schools. We're right across the street from Bend High that they're completely rebuilding the entire school. We are just down the road from Pilot Butte and Jewell Elementary. A lot of schools around here. But yeah, definitely a lot of the houses are built in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s around here. Not a lot of new development happening in this area, but a lot of beautiful houses. You'll see a lot of them have been remodeled, renovated, and they've really started to develop some stuff on the 3rd Street side just across the highway from here that is really making this a really awesome place to be. But back into kind of some things in the fall here. What are some of your favorite things, Ryan, in the fall here in Bend?
Yeah, we've talked about it maybe 50 videos ago, I don't know. But this is one of those times of year where it's actually the best time to go hiking in certain spots up in the mountains because the snow is at its point where it is the least in terms of its volume. And there are many places where you probably can't really get to those access points until long after, say, Mount Bachelor's closed up or the snow begins to melt off, and it finally does. But right now I'm looking forward to hiking up in the mountains. Mount Bachelor's a great spot to hike. 𝐷𝐺𝐻𝐺 is a great spot. It's about 20 minutes away from Bend for both of those. If you want to go a little bit further, you can even get into some really cool hiking spots up in the Green Lakes area, past Broken Top, past South Sister, etc. But that's one of my marquee things I really look forward to in the fall.
Yeah, we were just talking about this, that we really want to enjoy doing this more, living here, right? You kind of take it for granted when you grow up here and live here. Last week or a couple days ago, one of my friends and I met at 5:30, drove up to the mountain. We were up there at 5:50, hiked up 𝐷𝐺𝐻𝐺 Mountain. Took us about I don't know, an hour-ish. Watched the sunrise, hung out for a little bit, came down, back in town by 7:30. It was a really, really incredible way to start the day. And it's just right at your fingertips. You feel like it's so far away, but it's really not. So I agree with Ryan, those hikes at this time of year where the weather's cooled down a little bit, but you still don't have snow up there. Pretty fantastic event this time of year.
For sure. Other things that come to mind, like my kids right now, 7th grade, 4th grade, the pumpkin patch, that whole vibe and theme is about to commence out near Smith Rock. So another great place to actually hike. But there are several different ranches out there in the Terrebonne area, about 15 to 20 miles away from where we're at right now in Midtown Bend, where they just go balls to the walls when it comes to just this fall vibe and theme. Go pick your pumpkin out of the patch, among many other little activities that are just welcoming in the time of year. So that's another really cool thing to do around here this time of year.
Absolutely. I really look forward to football season around here. So high school football is a pretty big deal around here. It's not anything like when you go to Texas or some places in the South, but football is still a really big deal for being the small town that we are here. So Friday Night Lights is really cool. We've got 4 very competitive high schools. So going and catching some of those games on Friday nights is always one of my favorite things to do this time of year. Ryan and I both love football in general. And so finding good places to watch football. And we have some cool local places, you know, sidelines. You have, if you're on the west side, you have Lifty's is a great place to watch the game. Pinky G's, which is just down the street from here. It's a great pizza place. If you want like a sub sandwich, what is that? Beach Hut Deli has great TVs.
Good spot.
Midtown Yacht Club, not far from here as well. Great place to watch a game. Lots of great places to sit down and watch a game. We don't have many like large chains. Want to go this way?
Sure.
We don't have many large chains, so we don't have like a Buffalo Wild Wings or anything like that, but we've got quite a few great local sports bars that are fun places to watch sports. That's one of my favorite activities.
Yes.
In the fall time.
Speaking of football, a lot of Ducks fans, a lot of Beaver fans. They're here in town. A lot of people that have gone to those schools and they live over here. But Saturdays, when it's game day, people pile into their cars and they drive over the mountains for tailgate before the game and then enjoy the game. But when you're up in those mountains, you can just park in certain spots and go check out like 𝐕𝐸 Falls up there in I think it's the Willamette National Forest where that is, but it's just a very scenic drive going right through our 7 peaks, and you just have all these different vantage points where you can really enjoy the view of what makes Oregon when it comes to our mountains. That's another really cool thing to do as well.
Yeah, this time of year, those drives over to watch those football games are pretty special because the leaves are starting to change and you're driving through the mountains and there's just these vibrant yellows and oranges that just pop, and it's just one of the most beautiful things heading over to those games. So, and they're only, 2.5 hours away. So quick day trips over, watch a game, come back. It's a pretty neat experience. We have Fall Fest.
Fall Fest is coming
Fall
up.
Fest downtown, or did they move that to Northwest Crossing?
I think it's downtown still.
So Fall Fest, they bring in a bunch of musicians. They've got a bunch of vendors and booths, and so that's a great festival. It's 2 or 3 days downtown Bend where they block off a couple of the roads. A lot of the restaurants are doing cool stuff. Oktoberfest too, right?
Yeah, Oktoberfest. I think that's this month.
Yeah. Do they
September.
still do the wiener dog races?
I don't know. Might be worth checking out.
I don't know why, but so many places do Oktoberfest in September. Do you know why?
I do not know that either. That's a good question.
Pick up a book or two.
Yeah,
Ask
guess.
Chat.
There you go. But yeah, I mean that all those activities are great, and the one that we haven't really touched on, there's probably a couple others, but once September rolls around and
Hey, real quick, if this is your first time to the channel or it's your 50th, that doesn't matter to us. And you want to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, working, playing, the lifestyle in Bend and surrounding sunny Central Oregon, then subscribe to our channel, Tap that notification bell below so you can be the first to know about the current market happenings and lifestyle happenings here in Bend and Central Oregon. My name's Ryan, and I've lived in Bend for over 30 years. Zach and I, we get calls and texts every day from people just like you looking for help with their next transaction as it relates to real estate here in Bend and Central Oregon. So whether you're looking to make that transaction a possibility in the next 9 days or 90 days or even beyond that, that doesn't matter to us either. Give us a call or shoot us a text and we can set up a meeting if you're somewhere else. But if you're local, let's go get coffee somewhere and we can discuss your situation to figure out what the next course of action should be pertaining to your real estate situation. But it starts with you guys reaching out to us. So you can see our phone number right there. Give us a call or shoot us a text and we can arrange a time to chat further. Now, back to the video.
August is over. You can kind of feel the shift, right? It's still nice outside. The weather's great. But people start to think about their mountain about 20 miles away here to the west. And ski season is right around the corner. It's probably 2 months away. Usually Thanksgiving is the target date for opening. And you just kind of feel that buzz in the air when it comes to Mount Bachelor, outdoor recreation in the wintertime, getting ready to commence this time of year. We might get a dusting in the mountains here over the next couple of weeks. Kind of sets the tone, but usually about Thanksgiving's when Mount Bachelor tries to open up for the season, and that's coming up right around the corner.
Yeah, and if you're somebody that's gonna move here, Mount Bachelor does a really good job of doing like early bird specials. So if you know you're gonna commit to a season pass early in the year, they usually have some pretty great deals. If you do it, you know, I think it's late June, maybe July, sometime in there, where you get a pretty hefty discount. There's also, if you've never skied before and you want to learn about skiing, you want to get into it, but you don't want to spend all that money, they've got a pretty amazing deal called the Ridin' 5. Actually, I think they changed the name of it, but it used to be called the Ridin' 5. But
Yeah, that's cool.
You get essentially you get 5 lessons, and then you get I think you get a season pass for the rest of the year, a certain amount of passes, and then the next year you get a discount on your pass. For several years after that, you get a discount on your pass. That's at least how it used to be. It's a great way to get in the door, figure out if you really enjoy it, and if you do, then you can commit to a season pass for years after that. But
Yeah.
because it can be expensive if you don't use it. But for a lot of the people up here that have season passes, they are on that mountain all the time. So it's totally worthwhile if you're doing it a lot. A lot of bike riding. We were heading up to the mountain the other day. There were tons of people cruising their bikes. You know, we're getting these cooler temps, so riding your bike from Bend up to Mount Bachelor is not as daunting. A drive up the Cascade Lakes Highway out to Elk Lake and some of the lakes out there is pretty amazing this time of year.
For sure. I took my youngest son, up to Phil's Trail a couple days ago, and we did Kent's Trail, and we got probably 5 miles up the slope towards Bachelor. We just went as long as he could go, and then we just cruised down the hill. It was pretty fun. Little nerve-wracking watching him do cutting some of those corners, but that's another really cool thing that we get to do all the way until probably mid to late October, until it gets too damp and the trails need to be just kind of put to rest for the year. But what we're looking at now, I mean, we're in Juniper Park, where we basically started from the west edge of it. We're coming up on the east edge of it. All this green, not counting, say, the juniper and ponderosas, but it's going to start turning colors soon, and we'll do another video here in a couple weeks to really showcase the vibrant colors of Bend in the fall.
Yeah, just to talk about the market a little bit, fall market here. We've seen, you know, with the Fed's conversation about potential upcoming drops, we've seen a reduction in interest rates, and when they actually drop the rate, we may not see that much more of a drop, because a lot of that's baked into the conversation that's already been had. But we have noticed quite a bit of a pickup on our listings, moving a little quicker, a little bit more action and showings, and a little bit more reach out from you guys. So the market does seem to be picking up slightly. It's in no way on fire at the moment, but the beautiful thing right now in this market is that it's pretty balanced, but we've got a good amount of inventory. So we're teetering between 5 and 6 months of inventory right now, which means if no new homes came on the market, it would take about 5 or 6 months for all the homes to be sold. You as a buyer, that means you've got a lot more to look at. You know, just few years ago, you'd come in, there would be nothing to look at. There'd be 1 or 2 houses. Now, you know, we can go look at houses. We can schedule 2 days of looking at 5 or 6 houses each day and probably still not see everything and be able to cross a lot of things off the list because there's so many good options that you really like. So I think it's a great time to buy right now. It's a nice balanced market. Buyers do have the ability to ask for, you know, a reduction in price, some incentives, a good amount of repairs. So it's a great time to buy, in my opinion, right now. The market is very steady. Still seeing a good amount of homes sold. Where are we at for median home price right now?
We're waiting for our latest data, but as of August last month, we were right in the middle of 700, so about 750 was our median home price, and that's been kind of like the barometer, 725, 750 for the last seemingly 18 to 24 months.
Yeah, so it'll be really interesting to see what our next report comes out. I'm sure we'll put together a video and talk about that when it comes out, but the market's in no way, you know, the bottom's not falling out of it by any means. I feel like if anything, it's ticking up a hair, but it's still, I think it's one of the better markets to be a buyer in quite some time.
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback on what Zach was saying, it's like you had a lot of people that bought homes back in 2020 and 2021, and all of a sudden it wasn't about the home, it was just about beating the competitor that was trying to buy the same home that you bought. And so after a couple weeks, you kind of got into that home, you're relieved, you won the battle, you bought a home, but then you start to realize, oh, I didn't really get time to process this home and decide if it was the right fit. So we're getting a lot of people that are starting to express that as far as not loving the home they're currently in and maybe starting to dip their toes in the water to say upgrade or go sideways or maybe downgrade, do something to find the right fit because they do have some equity. That is the consolation of trying to rush into a purchase back in that little era a couple years ago. So that's what we're starting to notice now, and the market has slowed to the point where those buyers can now be patient and they can rest on the home they see and they can really decide if it's the right fit. That's what's exciting about this market.
Yeah, and I totally agree with Ryan there, and we will see, I believe we're going to see even more inventory on the market because of exactly what he just said, is that a lot of people rushed into homes to get into the market, but they've kind of been stuck because they have those really low interest rates and they can't stomach going from super low to, you know, up here like we're at, like 3 to jump up to 7. That seems like a huge jump. It's a big financial difference in monthly payment. But now, you know, that rates are starting to creep down. You're seeing people say, okay, maybe I'm willing to sacrifice that higher mortgage for a house that I really love, having more options. And so I think that's what that's going to do is really open up the market even more, and you're going to see even more inventory come on the market.
Totally.
Yeah, which when people were talking about interest rates going down and prices maybe going up, I don't know if that's honestly going to be the case because I think we're going to get a real flood of inventory. I could be wrong about that. That's just a personal opinion, but I think we're going to see a good amount of inventory come up, which is great. If you're a buyer, you've got a lot of options.
Absolutely. But that's kind of where things are at right now. Looking forward to the fall season, as well as kind of taking a look at where we're at in the current state of the market. So hopefully this video has served you well in some capacity.
We appreciate you guys. Call us, text us, reach out to us. We'd love to connect with you, help you make a move here to Bend, Oregon. So yeah, we'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for
guys.
watching.
Have a great day.